Life will teach you that just because you get older doesn't mean that you outgrow some of the habits and the behaviors that have led you into your adulthood. Usually, when a child is seen acting out in public or in the streets, or even when they're young adolescents age, people will say, they're just young. They'll grow out of it. They'll grow out of it. But really? Will they? You won't grow out of anything unless you intentionally make the decision to grow out of something. And if it's for a young child, then they may not necessarily grow out of something or even be taught the proper way to handle their emotions and their behaviors unless there's a trusted adult that is leading and guiding and instructing them on how to do that. So it leads us to believe in our adulthood, how are we showing up? Are we showing up from a place where we are healed, aware, and intentional? Or are we making excuses and saying things like, well, that's how I am, and that's the way that I grew up, and it is what it is. That's how I do things. Because if you're choosing the latter, then that means that there is some internal work that we have to do. Now, if you looked at my previous videos, I spent a lot of time emphasizing the importance of decluttering the mind. How decluttering the mind and really excavating thoughts, habits, behaviors, and ways of being that don't serve us can ultimately lead us to our greatest good or our greatest demise. So in order for us to pour into the next level of our lives or even elevate and expand, it's important to face those decisions that we've made, the emotions that we have and how we process it, how we react to certain things, our ways of being on a daily basis. How do we approach others? Are we judgmental? Are we pessimistic? Do we leave room for optimism and possibility? All of that plays a role in how we transform our mind and also heal throughout our journey. Because after you've decluttered your mind, then that means that there's space for some things to be filled in. It's kind of like when you clean out your house. You look around and you say, well, I don't need this and I don't need that, and I can probably donate that and I can get rid of that. But then after that space offers up some emptiness, right? And some availability, what do you replace the old things that you've removed from your space? What do you replace it with? Do you replace it with the same old, same old? Are you set at default? Or are you prepared to do the actual work and be intentional about healing? After you've decluttered your mind, it is now time for us to go into a space of healing. And just because you're a grown adult doesn't mean that you've done the work in the healing process of life. And we've all have experienced some things in life that have shifted our perspective. We've all have a story. No one is especially unique in that area. So to be fair, we can all say we've been through something. And that's wonderful because that speaks to our individuality and it makes us who we truly are. But it doesn't make us so unique that we can't see the humanity and offer compassion to those that are currently struggling, and even to ourselves, most importantly. Be able to see the humanity and the compassion on the inside of you. Be prepared for things to come up when you go through that healing process, where you begin to get triggered or reminded of some things that may have shaped you into the person that you are today. Now, to be clear, I don't want to downplay anything that anyone experiences. I know that we have all been handled a certain way by the adults in our lives, by the family members that we've been surrounded with, by the schools and places that we've been involved in, any form of place that required us to be somewhere for a very long time, like an educational institution or something like that. We've all experienced that. And so it just makes us wonder, okay, am I becoming a better person? Am I stuck in what life has given me? Am I prepared to see the broader picture of what I faced and what I've been through? These are not easy questions to answer, but they are important if we're going to expand, because you cannot heal your mind and not face the truth about the need to really dig deep and to look deep and to ask those questions. and to think about what you're thinking about. I have interacted with quite a few adults in my lifetime and quite a few young people, from high school students to middle school students to elementary school students, working in the field of education. And there have been so many incidences where I have personally had to become even more mindful and aware that someone's reaction is not based on what I've necessarily done personally, but is based on the experience that they've had and that has shaped them to be who they are in this moment. And there's an elevated level of thinking that comes with that. And it doesn't happen overnight. But when we speak about giving others compassion and understanding, that's one of the areas that we'll have to do that in. In other words, asking ourselves, is this happening because of me, or is this happening because of what they may have experienced by default? Now, I'm not saying it's right either way, nor am I saying to show up in life and just be rude and have an attitude with everyone and feel like the world owes you something and not be able to express yourself. But there's a great majority of people who just simply can't do that. And when they can't, then what does that do? Does that take you off of your posts? Are you quick to become defensive and argumentative and frustrated when you can't offer just some perspective as to why someone shows up the way they show up? Which is why it's so important for us to do the healing work. If we don't do the healing work on the inside of us, then we cannot expand to the life that we are calling forth for ourselves. We pray prayers. Well, at least I pray prayers. Maybe you meditate, maybe you journal. But sometimes I don't even realize, what prayers that I'm praying. And let me clarify that. It's not that I don't know what I'm talking to God about or what I'm uttering within my spirit. But if we ask for things, then there's a preparation period that comes with that asking. So if you ask for peace, then chances are you may be put in situations that require you to become more peaceful. If you ask for patience, then you might be put in situations that require you to become more patient. If you are asking for wealth and for expansion, then you might be put in situations that are calling you to think differently about what wealth and expansion looks like. Who would that person be? How would they show up? What type of decisions would they make? How would they treat other people? This healing journey is not only for yourself, but it gives you the opportunity to declutter the mind and then replace those thoughts with some new thoughts that can birth a new season within you. And that will help you not only interact with yourself better and provide more self-love to you, but it can also help you interact with those that you may know, may not know, heal some family wounds, be a little bit more present inside of your relationships, be it friendships or romantic or platonic. It's not just a one day thing. It's not something that just happens and then all of a sudden it spreads throughout our lifetime. It's something that we intentionally choose on a regular basis and something that makes us better. So are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to do the healing work that is necessary? Because if you don't heal the mind, then you can't expand in life. You're going to feel like people always owe you something. You're going to have strong opinions about things, and that's okay. But when it's not okay is when it interferes with your ability to see life for what it is. And the truth is, we're all walking different paths, and we're all experiencing different things, and we're all coming from different starting points. And that is to be respected in some aspects. Again, it's not a free pass to treat anyone the way you want to treat them, but it offers some insight and allows us to say, that's an interesting reaction. Or, I never thought about it that way. Or let me extend some compassion to that person because they've experienced some things that I may not have experienced. And that's probably why they're showing up in this moment, in this hour that way. I'm just going to sit with that for a second. You don't have to agree with everything, and you don't have to agree with everyone. But once you do the healing work on the inside of you and begin to replace old thoughts and old mindsets and old beliefs with some new, invigorating, healing ones that say, I accept who I am. I love who I am. I forgive those around me that have mishandled me. And I ask to be forgiven of those that I may have mishandled. I'm seeking clarity and optimism and hope. I'm trusting that I'm being led to where I need to be. I want to respect everyone on my journey and on my path. And I offer them guidance and love from the Most High God, whatever that looks like to you, Be intentional about healing so that you can truly expand into the life that you desire. There are leaders that are powerful and that are manipulative and that can be really not so great to their people and to who they've been called to serve. And then there are leaders that do the complete opposite, that are hopeful and loving and kind and responsible with the tasks that they've been given on how to handle people. It is a service of love. It's a service of understanding and compassion. And it doesn't mean that you're bopping throughout the day just smiling and waving, but it does mean that you're doing the quiet work on the inside that requires you to look within, heal the parts within that hurt, face the wounds, the childhood wounds, face the relationship wounds, let go of those things that you have experienced, but that you've learned from, and learn to bless those lessons. It's a variety of things, and it's not just a one day and a one size fits all. So I encourage you, and I charge you with the task of being mindful of what you're mindful about and taking the opportunity to heal when it's not pretty, when it doesn't look good, but knowing that once you get to the other side of the journey, it'll be within your greatest and highest good. I hope that helps. I will continue on with a few more videos that really speak about the importance of healing and how that can help transform and expand your life. If you need some resources, just look at the description below. I'm hoping that that will help you. But again, we want to declutter our mind, to reshape our reality, and then do the healing work so we can invite expansion into our life and clarity into our life and love and forgiveness and peace. Where the water flows smoothly, that's where you want to be. Just literally swimming in a flow state, not a forced, abrupt, hard state. And again, no shade to anyone who's experienced really tough and difficult times growing up. I know that some people have really been through some devastating and some traumatic experiences, and I want to offer my love and my support and my prayers to you. So this is not to dismiss you or to dismiss that. This is just simply a place of resolved for a made up mind and the one who's willing to say, it stops here. The healing begins here. The excuses stop here. I'm sending you so much love, and I thank you so much for watching. Look in the description if you need anything further, and I look forward to you tuning into my next videos. Thank you.